we can continue to advance on those where it's going to be a benefit for all things, climate change, job creation, and economic development, especially for streetcars and the 85 cities that are looking at them.
Well, I'm looking forward to writing on one of them.
All right. Anytime.
Good. This gentleman right here has been waiting. Go ahead. Oops. I'll call you.
Mr. President, thank you for the invitation. My name is Bill Ossie from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I have a request that won't cost us anything, and it'll bring money home. Can you please help ease the visa regulation so we can have students coming back and international business visitors that will bring money and cultivate long-term resources of culture and academic relationships? So please help ease this visa. It'll bring money in and won't cost us anything. Thank you.
Well, I think you make an important suggestion. We live in an interconnected world and an interdependent world. And I think that properly we had to respond to 9/11 by reviewing our policies on visas, on immigration, on a whole host of issues. But I think it is important for us not to get into a bunker mentality. That's not America's strength. Our strength has always been saying yes to the rest of the world, inviting ideas and different cultures and commerce. And we have not seen the same kinds of openness, I think, over the last several years that I'd like to see. Now, we've got to do it in a prudent way. But let's just take the example of Fordham students. One of the great things about this country is we get the best and the brightest talent to study here, and once they study here, they start enjoying the intellectual freedom and the entrepreneurship, and they decide to stay, and they start new businesses, and suddenly you've got a whole new generation of folks who are creating Intel or other extraordinary businesses. If those students start seeing a closed door, then we are losing what is one of our greatest competitive advantages. And that's something that I think we're committed to doing. Let me broaden the point. There are a lot of things that don't cost money that could make a difference. So this goes back to the issue of certainty. I mean, I do think that providing some regulatory certainty and reducing red tape on a whole bunch of areas like infrastructure investment is very important. And what I've instructed our team to do is any good idea that will make the systems and processes of the private sector interacting with government smoother, quicker, crisper, more tech savvy, I'm for. And I think on the export front is another example of where a lot of times just showing up, making sure that Gary Locke or our trade representative, what's that guy's name, Ron Kirk? I'm messing with you, Ron. Is he here? You can tell him I said that. But making sure that they are actively pursuing business opportunities overseas, and we are not making it tougher. Let me give you one specific example that could have some significant job implications. We still have a lot of trade restrictions on high-tech exports that are actually carryovers from the Cold War. Now, part of the problem is we haven't gotten the kind of intellectual property enforcement in other countries that we need. And so understandably, businesses are wary about sending their products overseas just to be duplicated and then shipped back to us with using lower wage labor. But in some cases, it really has to do with a failure to update and review what restrictions still make sense and what restrictions don't. Now, China, Korea, a whole bunch of Asian nations would love to import some high value-added, high-tech stuff that could create huge numbers of jobs here in the United States. If we just increased our share of exports to Asia by 1%, that's about 250,000 jobs right there. If we increased it by 5, that's 1 million jobs. That fills a big hole. It doesn't cost us money. So we are going to be scouring federal regulations, restrictions, et cetera, that are inhibiting export growth. We're going to be trying to see if we can use the federal government to link up small business and medium-sized businesses to exports more effectively. I know a lot of this stuff was talked about in the export section. This is going to be a top priority. Even though I was only supposed to take one more question, I'm going to take two because I had actually called on this gentleman right here, and I felt bad that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Farouk Kathwari, Chairman and CEO of Ethan Allen. Just to follow up on this question on immigration, although my comment is on a separate subject, I came to the United States at age 21 with just a few $100s, went to work during the day, printing envelopes, went to school, and this country afforded me the opportunity to be where I am today. I think we should make sure that that kind of an opportunity is not taken away. Now, my comment is that Ethan Allen is a 77-year-old company. We have, to survive, we've had to reinvent, either by chance or by plan. Otherwise, anybody 77 years old in an enterprise cannot survive. Now, this last year, I refer it to like a tsunami hitting the economy, has given us more opportunity to reinvent in the last 7 or 8 months than I've seen in the last 25 years that I've been president of Ethan Allen. We have, in the first 7 or 8 months, we've had to consolidate. We have to let people go. We are a vertically integrated company, from manufacturing to retailing to logistics. We have taken the brunt of this recession in communities that are very, very far away from Washington, in Vermont, in Maine, North Carolina, Pennsylvania. And we've had people with us for 30 to 40 years we've had to let go, but we had to. In the last 7 months, as I said, after all this major reinvention, major consolidation, but we are reinventing. In the last few months, we've been adding people. We make furniture, and we have 30 stores in China, and we are shipping them from the United States. It's possible. I would say, Mr. President, that we should not miss this opportunity. Crisis creates an opportunity. We as business leaders are ready for reinvention. And I think the government should help us in fiscal policy, should help us in tax policy. Because the reinvention, like you talk of the infrastructure of building bridges, but we've got to build our plants. We've got to build our technology. And I think the government can play a very, very important role because this opportunity is going to be short. And I think we should not miss it.
Well, this is actually a good place to close. What people are going through every day is heartbreaking all across the country.